Working on another gnome project. This one's a freestanding lace. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog for Monday, October the 2nd, 2023, and it's vlog number 332. So hope everybody had a nice weekend, and from what I heard on Stephen and Walter Live yesterday, everybody was experiencing pretty warm temperatures, except for those up in the frozen north and to the west of us. Over in Calgary, I think they were around 8 degrees C or 6 degrees C, something like that. So weird weather, isn't it? But nothing much we can do about it. So let's get right into what I've been working on very quickly. These things I'm going to show you right now are items that I'm going to talk about a little bit more in more detail tomorrow on the Idiot Quilter. I'm just giving you a sneak peek of them. This is my Thanksgiving table runner. And no, there is not a mistake. One turkey's up, one turkey's down. Because think about it. If it's on your table and there's people sitting on both sides of your table, both sides can see it the right way up. There's a thought. So yes, there was method to my madness. And then we have, let me get that up. This one is called Forest Dwellers. There were some problems with this one. It turned out all right, but guess what? It's my luck. There was a mistake in the pattern. At least I'm pretty sure it was a mistake. And I actually talked to somebody via chat at the company that produced this pattern, and I'll let you in tomorrow on everything that went on with that conversation. But it is nice. In spite of the fact that there was a problem with the pattern, I made it work out, and I'm really happy with it. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. Okay, this one's another gnome one. No, it is not warped. It's just the way it was hanging on my fabric case when I took the picture. Not quite done. Hoping today I will get the binding on it. That's all that's left to do. I managed to get it quilted yesterday. In fact, I did this all in one day. I could have bound it yesterday too, but at that point I just thought I'd leave it. Binding is not one of my favorite things. But I had some other ideas that I wish I'd thought about before I actually finished this pattern according to its instructions that I think might have worked out even better. And of course it was Walter who gave me this suggestion or got me thinking about it. But again, more about that tomorrow on the Idiot Quilter. And then we have this little guy, and he actually was a leftover from the panel that made the table runner you just saw, and he's a stuffy, and I just thought I'd stuff him. I could have made one more too, but he's cute, but what am I going to do with him? Yeah, more again about that tomorrow. And then I am now in production mode for these little guys, the guy gnome and the girl gnome. And I think they're really cute. This is freestanding lace done on my embroidery machine, and these eventually, when I get enough of them made, are going to be little gifts attached to gift bags and things like that, because I just think they're stinking cute. But again, more about that tomorrow. So I've been busy boy. Not only that, but we did a shop hop on Saturday. That was the first time I've ever been on a shop hop, and a whole lot of stuff about that I didn't expect, that I did expect, and some surprises along the way too. And this coming Friday, So Chatty, will be devoted to our shop hop adventure. So be sure to tune into that. And yes, I bought stuff, a lot of stuff, but when don't I, right? You'd think I made money. I'm not, but I spend it like I do. Okay, so that takes me to the YouTube channel of the week. Now, this is a character that, and I say character because he is a character, but he's a very knowledgeable person. He is Canadian, and he talks about all things Canadian. But he did a really interesting video about Canadian politics, current Canadian politics. I learned a lot from that, and I thought, yeah, this is something that maybe some of the people who are not Canadian that watch my channel, i.e. Americans, because I know Americans really don't know anything about Canadian politics. We know more about you than you know about us. So he puts it into a very concise explanation, the current trend right now or current happenings right now. And well, it's worth the watch. But here's my review of this. This week's YouTube video of the week is one from a creator who is Canadian by the name of J.J. McCullough. And his videos are very, very good because he tries to focus on Canadian culture. But in this particular video, what I really liked about it is he was focusing on Canadian politics and updating everybody on the situation that we have here in Canada. Now, the reason why I think this is interesting isn't so much from the point of view of a Canadian, although as a Canadian, I found some interesting things in here that I did not know. But I think many of my subscribers are Americans, and so they don't really have a clue, or Americans really don't have a clue about Canadian politics. It's not something that you see frequently on their news programs. We, as Canadians, probably know more about American politics than Americans know about Canadian politics. So this really clarifies, I think, very well what the present situation is in our country, how our Canadian political system actually works, and who the key players are in Canadian politics. So if you're interested in politics of another country, or you just want to get a sense of what we as Canadians are all about when it comes to the political scene, then you're going to want to check out Canadian Politics News Update Fall 2023 by J.J. McCullough. So that link is in the show notes below, and there is a link to how to find my email address. Now, some people have been a little confused with that because I used to put it in the show notes, but you know, scammers, yeah, stuff like that. So now I have put it in the About tab. Now, a lot of people are very confused about where the About tab, and for that matter, the Community tab, because I'm going to say more about that in a moment, are located. They are not located directly with the video that you may be watching. What you need to do is go out of the video and click on my face. That sounds good, doesn't it? Click on my face. That's right next to the title of the video. That takes you to the whole main page, first page of the entire channel. And that is the page where at the top you will find tabs. And there'll be something like playlists, videos, recent, and there's a community tab and there's a About tab. Click on the About tab and it'll take you to another page where if you look down, you'll see business address. Why they call it that, I don't know, but it is hidden. What you have to do is click on it and it'll come up and it'll ask you if you're a robot or not. You know, one of those little check-off boxes, the ketchas or whatever they call them. You click on that and my email address will magically appear. Okay. Now, if you're still having trouble finding that tab, what I have done is in my show notes, you will see find my contact information in the About section. Click here. I've given you a direct link to that as well. Okay. Sorry that it has to be that complicated. It's not that complicated, but it's a few extra steps. But the problem is scammers. They're everywhere and they're on YouTube. It's full of them. And they try to, get your email address and send you all kinds of crap. I get enough crap as it is. And a lot of the email I get every day, and I'm sure you're all the same, is from people trying to scam you out of your money. I'm constantly blocking them, but they have a rotating email address, which is fake. And it's like Sisyphus rolling the big boulder up the mountain. You get to the top, it rolls back, and you have to start all over again. It's endless. Our governments need to do something about this. They really do. But anyways, welcome to First World Problems caused by the Third World. Okay, so along with those links there, you will find a link to Stephanie and Stephen. Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, the usual one. That's a reoccurring link. If you don't want to have to go to my show notes to find that in your regular every week, I suggest you just copy that link and put it somewhere where you put things that are important to you that you can find easily, because we don't change that link usually. It's a reoccurring one. It's always the same link to Zoom for Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, which of course begins at 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, Wednesday mornings. Okay. Um, there is a link to the video I put up about the Idiot Quilter Fall Retreat. I'm sure you've already seen that link. It's there. Um, so, yeah, moving on. I just noticed a little mistake in my notes, of course. So, give me a second. I just need to highlight that for myself, or that mistake will get transferred into this video. Okay, there's links to my friends' channels. Check them out. There's a link to past week's videos as well. And one of those links is for an interview that I did last week. And so if you haven't seen that, you might want to. Okay, that takes me to looking out my window. Now, this is going to look like it's from a spy movie. Okay, see what I mean? Looks like we did it with an infrared camera. Technically, we did. It is early here. Right now, as I record this, it's about 6:45 in the morning. Sun's coming up, but it hasn't got up when I took this picture. I took this picture about 10 minutes before, about now. So it's dark out. And that's what the day is looking like. Dark. Here's my forecast for today. It will be dark early in the morning, but it will get progressively lighter as the day goes on, and as it gets to the height at noon, it'll be very, very bright, and then it'll get a little bit darker and a little bit darker, and it'll be dark tonight. Okay, that's my daily forecast for you. Temperature, 14 degrees C as I make this right now, and high is going to be, it says 25. Yeah, and this is October 2nd. This is warmer than what we usually have this time of the year. So I'm not really complaining about it, but it makes you wonder, doesn't it? The crazy weather we've had this past summer, the forest fires, the incredible heat, the flooding, all that good stuff. Is nature trying to tell us something? Yeah, get off the planet, because we're killing it. But anyways, topic for another day. All right, let's go to what's pissing me off this week. Oh my goodness. Okay, you probably haven't been following Canadian politics unless you're Canadians, and probably most of us as Canadians don't follow it either. Let's take that off the screen, shall we? But we have government scandals. Now, yeah, you're going to say, so what's new? Doesn't every government everywhere in the world have a scandal? Of course they do. And that's the problem. Our government, the provincial government, just went back into session. And what do they open up with? The whole Greenbelt scandal, which essentially is our crooked premier was trying to sell off protected land that has been protected for quite a while and was said it would never be touched because it's the Greenbelt. It's, conservation, doing our part for the environment, blah, 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 blah. And he's selling it off to his rich friends so they can develop multi-billion-dollar housing developments. Of course, he's trying to disguise it all under the fact that he's doing something good for the province because we need housing. Yeah, he's right. We do need housing. They keep throwing around the word affordable. What's affordable to a homeless person for a house? $0. Yeah, I think $0 is affordable because they don't have jobs. They don't need money. So, yeah, and why are these developers developing things that will probably start at, $1 million to buy? So that's not really going to solve the housing crisis, is it? But that's what he's claiming. Oh yeah, we need houses. We're going to put these up. They're going to be, some of them will be affordable. Yeah, 2. And affordable for who, as I just said. So yeah, it's a big scandal. So the opposition parties went right after him, and he has backed down on it. And he has admitted that they made a mistake. Yeah, it was more than a mistake. It was a planned piece of business where he and his buddies were going to profit from it. We know that. He's a crook. Ford is a crook. There's no two ways about it. But then again, you could say that almost about any politician, and I have many times before. But my whole pissed off point today is at both our provincial level and at the federal level, all they do is talk about scandals. The party that's in power does something that doesn't go over well with the opposing party that's not in power but wants to be in power, and so they spend the majority of their time in question period, in when they're supposed to be making laws, when they're supposed to be directing funds to where they need to go, basically looking after our country and us, the people who put them in power. Doesn't say much about our intelligence either, does it? They're supposed to be doing all of this, but they're not. They're too busy trying to mark up the government that's in power and trying to bring them down. So, here in Canada, at the provincial and the federal level, usually our politicians only stay in power, or the party only stays in power for about 4 years. Then we have another election. But they spend 2 of those years trying to overthrow, the opposition tries to overthrow the government that's in power. And then the next 2 years, they try to do things to boost their own party's popularity, rented lips, use my words, trying to, boost up their party's popularity. Whoa, alliteration's not my thing today. In order so they will become the next voted in party. So in the meantime, a lot of money is spent, and a lot of that money is spent on just these scandals, and we get nowhere. We're just still back in the same old hole all the time. It's ridiculous. And as I watch this over the years, and I guess it's because of my age, you become more interested in this than you did when you're a younger person. I can't help but seeing parallels to major historical revolutions where the peasants rose up and overthrew the governments. And I'm thinking, the fall of the Bastille, the French Revolution, 1789. I'm thinking of, the Russian Revolution, 1917. And there's many other examples around the world of, uprisings and the whole bit. The only thing that scares me about that is, what are you going to replace what we have now? Because these uprisings that come from the peasants, supposedly, history also shows it didn't make anything better. There's still problems. So, yeah, we're in a bad situation. I was watching a Netflix documentary, as I do, and it's about people who have seen UFOs, okay? There's a ton of those kind of documentaries out there, but this one's actually kind of interesting because it has a very professional air about it. It's very journalistic, the whole bit. I'm not saying that we're not being a little bit... things are not being made up about it. And for that matter, I do believe we're not alone in the universe. I mean, mathematically, we can't be. But regardless, I'm thinking maybe we do need to have some alien invasion here, Maybe that's the cure for all of these wants. Let a more intelligent race that hopefully knows what they're doing come down and take over. Could it be any worse? Well, yeah, if they're really weird-looking creatures and they like to eat us, I suppose that could be worse, yeah. But, they might eat our bodies, but our governments right now are eating our soul. So, yeah, let the scandals continue. It's real live TV. It's real life, I guess. Reality. What do they call it? Reality TV. Okay, so... takes me to new products. Well, I don't have any pictures to show you, but I'll just mention it because it's more appropriate for the Idiot Quilter. I bought some backing fabric from Missouri Star Quilt. Very happy with it. And Invisifil. I really am having trouble with my lips. I hope I'm not having a stroke. Okay, Invisifil thread, which I talked about on a So Chatty episode, and it's a thread I really have been loving right now for when I do my binding. And so I bought some of that too, and I got the wrong stuff. More about that tomorrow on the Idiot Quilter. And that's about all that I bought. Well, no, that's not true. I bought a lot of fabric on the shop hop. But again, for the Idiot Quilter. Okay, so what about my plants? Well, it's October, right? And so you would expect your plants to look exactly like this. Dead. Sort of dead. Those are the tomato plants, and they are looking really gnarly. Great for Halloween, right? But you can see they're still producing little tiny cherry tomatoes. And Walter goes out there almost every day and picks a new crop of them, and they just keep coming. So I may have to do some more experiments with tomatoes. You know that last week I experimented with making tomato sauce in the food mill, and I said that was interesting. Won't be doing that again. Yeah, again, because of the time it took. I mean, I'm sure if I had a huge garden and I had, great big huge tomatoes and, bushel baskets of them, it might be worth the effort. But for the small little crop that we get, making tomato sauce with them is not really worth the effort. I can buy the stuff in the can and doctor it with spices, and it works out just as good. Green pepper plants are still producing. It has slowed down, but if you look over in the left-hand corner, you can see a green pepper, a nice looking green pepper right there on the plant, right for the picking. So yeah, we're getting quite a few of those too. So I think we're going to need to chop those up, put them in little baggies, and put them in the freezer because they're great. They freeze well. I mean, yeah, you're not going to be able to use them in a salad because they'll be mush. But when you're cooking something that needs, peppers being cooked into it, like spaghetti sauce or whatever, tomato sauce, they work out really well that way. Still have some lettuce coming on, although it has slowed down. We have decided that lettuce actually likes cooler weather. The weather's been warmer. When the weather gets warmer, the lettuce doesn't seem to grow the same. And of course, the chives are the chives. They're always there. We still have some basil as well, and I really need to go out and maybe make some more pesto and freeze it, because that was really easy to make, and that turned out great. So yeah, note to self, get out there today when we can see things and pick that stuff. So yeah, and we've got to start. I keep saying this every week, but Walter has kind of cleaned up the grow lights inside, and we need to start getting some things planted under there, like more lettuce and more herbs and things like that. I don't think we're going to plant tomato plants. We might try again. They didn't do that well under grow lights. We found. Now, it might have also been the variety we had. We might have to do some investigation about that. So that's that. But I thought I'd show you these. These are my COVID philodendrons. We have a big philodendron plant. You can't see it in this picture. It's over in a corner out of shot. That was Walter's sister's, his oldest sister that passed away about 10, 11 years ago, 12 years ago maybe now. I don't know. And so we brought it home, and we've had it ever since. In fact, Walter gave it what he called a haircut yesterday. He cut it all way back. It needs to be actually repotted because I'm pretty sure it's root bound. But from that plant, I started taking clippings when COVID started and rooting them and then planting them. And this is my crop, and I have more in that little white container that's right in the foreground. That's a philodendron that has a lot of roots on it. Need to get it into a pot. And I just keep going. My goal is to fill this whole breakfast bar like ledge that we don't really use for anything with philodendrons. And I love looking at them when we're sitting at the kitchen table. It just looks so nice. They're so green, and they're one plant I can't kill. So that's a good thing. In the tiny little glass vase just down in the bottom left corner, that's basil, and it's got roots. Now, yes, I know I can grow them under my grow lights, but I like the look of the basil plant just as a plant too. So I'm going to get that into some dirt and see if it will survive there in that spot in the kitchen throughout the winter. I don't intend to use it. We'll grow some under the grow lights for fresh basil. I just like the look of the plant, and we'll see what happens with that. Another experiment here. I'm really not a gardener, and I don't have any other indoor plants really than what you see here. We have a corn plant. It's called a corn plant. Don't ask me why. That Walter had when I first met him 40 years ago. It's kind of a sentimental plant because he bought it for like 99 cents at a discount store back then, and it's huge. And it's like a tree, and every so many years we chop it back, and it keeps growing. I should take a picture of that to show you what it looks like at some point. I'll try to think of that for next time. But anyways, that's about all the plants we have in the house. I had thought about spreading these philodendrons out around the house, but I kind of just like this jungle that's here. And I might have to trim it back. I noticed one of them in this picture is kind of starting to head towards the floor, and I don't want that. So I'll just root it, and we'll see what we get. Anybody want to buy a philodendron? Okay, so is that all I've got there to show you? Oh no, here's another shot. Yeah, you see what I mean? They're so green and luscious. I only water them every other week, and I'm thinking too that maybe I need to cut back on the water a little bit. The one disadvantage of this, and I don't know if you can see it in this picture, but we have some little yellow sticky things in the plants to capture these little bugs. They're like little gnats or something, and they come out of the soil apparently. And this is bad this time of the year. When it's warm, it's bad. And I've noticed that we were in a restaurant the other day, and they had them flying around too. Well, they might have been fruit flies that they had, but a lot of people are complaining about them. There's not a lot you can do. We have these little sticky things where they, fly into that, they stick there and die. And that those little sticky things do work. They pick up quite a few, but there's a lot of them, and you just sort of learn to live with them. I'm sure there's some sprays you can get, but I don't want to be really spraying insecticides around my house, especially in my kitchen area and that kind of thing. And I know there's old wives' tale tricks you can use, like some people say put out a little shallow dish of apple cider vinegar. They'll be attracted to that and drown. I've tried it. They don't. They just look at you and go, yeah, really? I'm too clever for you. So, yeah, maybe we'll let in one of the bats from outside. They eat little bugs. They love them. Darting all around the house, eating the bats at night. Well, yeah, there's a problem with that too. Anyways, I ramble. Okay, so I have been making things on the 3D printer. I'm making more of my famous gnome seam rippers. Needed a few of these for gifts, and I was getting a little low, so I made a whole new batch of those. I made these guys. These are just fun. They're zombie candy bowls for Halloween. I'll put them out. In fact, this week I got to start getting out my fall Halloween decorations up as well. So yeah, I thought these were kind of fun when I saw them. So I printed a couple of those. And yeah, I think that's all that I've been doing on 3D printer. In fact, 3D printers are quiet right now. They're not doing anything. Looking for some new projects, some new ideas to do. So okay, let's move on then to Blast from the Past. Here is our second day in Melbourne during our trip of 2018, and these are great for me as well to review, because now that we're planning our fourth trip to Australia come this spring, it's good to remind ourselves of what we saw, where we liked, and where we want to go again.
Okay, so this is our second day in Melbourne, and we're starting out today by taking a walk through one of their many parks, and this is the Fitzroy Gardens. We were here last year when the cruise ship stopped for a couple hours here at Melbourne before it went to Sydney. And it's quite a nice garden, and Captain Cook's house supposedly is here as well. We did see that the last time we were here, but we didn't go in, and I don't know if we'll go in today because you pay admission for what, to see old furniture. And it's not the original anyways. I think it's a reproduction, or they moved it here or something like that from wherever it came from before. And of course, down here, Walter is lathering on the sunscreen. as well because it is quite warm already. And it's just after 10 o'clock and it's about 22, 23 degrees C and it's supposed to go up to about 31 today. So this is just another area of Fitzroy Park. And you can see this is where the ducks all hang out. Very nice, very peaceful. Very scenic. There's Walker taking a picture. And there's a woman here. So we're continuing on our way through Fitzroy Park. You can see it's quite a big park. Oh, we're not?
No,
Oh, okay. I thought we were.
we have to cross that street.
Okay. I stand to be corrected. Well, it's a park. You can see some of the skyline here of Melbourne, which is kind of nice. Very lush. Far cry from what it looks like at home right now.
Technically, this is called the Treasury Gardens.
It's called the Treasury Gardens,
Yeah,
and it
it's a
leads.
JFK Memorial.
Oh, okay.
And the next place over will be in Fitzroy Gardens.
Okay, well, let's carry on. And now we're in Fitzroy Garden proper. And you can say, tour group. Let's run from the tour group. Run. They will eat us.
Conservatory that we
Oh yeah, let's go back in there. That's it. This conservatory was really quite nice inside. We were in there a year ago. A little more than a year ago now. 14 months, maybe. So this is the conservatory, which we're heading into. Very pretty. Very lush. Look at the puppy. Oh, look at the puppy. Tour group. So we're at Cook's Cottage now, which I've already mentioned. And it says Cook's Cottage was constructed in 1755 in the English village of Great Ayton by the parents of James Cook. It was shipped to Victoria and re-erected in the Fitzroy Gardens in 1934. The cottage commemorates Captain James Cook, who in 1770 mapped the east coast of Australia from Point Hicks in Victoria to Possession Island north of Queensland. The oldest building in Australia. It is open daily for a price. And you see over there, I'll move in a little bit. They're dressed in period costumes, and I don't think we'll bother. If you've seen one old piece of furniture or some crockery, you've seen them all. So this is another park. Is this park called Parliament
Parliament.
Park or Parliament Gardens?
Yeah.
But kind of a unique looking thing. Get a good scenery view here. The parks in Melbourne are very, very nice. And they're all within the middle of the city. Lots of green spaces. Good urban planning. Okay, so this is the Melbourne Museum. Looks like they might have an IMAX since they're advertising it. Big place. Hard to get it all into one shot. but we're going to go inside and see what there is to be seen. Okay, so we're inside the Melbourne Museum right now, and they don't really have maps unless you're Chinese. Then you can get a map, and I don't read Mandarin, so not very good for me. But anyways, we're heading somewhere in here, and we'll see what we'll see. It's a very nice looking museum, very modern. So we'll see what we'll see. So for the next little while, I'm just going to take random shots or video of different parts of the museum. This is the Aboriginal or Native Peoples display, and it goes on for days, as you can see. And there's a native. Nope, it's just Walter. Oh, scary. Silly. Of course, what museum would not be complete without dinosaurs? Dinosaurs. Dinosaur. A regular zoo of dead animals. I do not like looking at dead animals. There's something spooky about it. There's a couple of monkeys. Ew, live bugs, where are they?
They're all over.
look
They're
at-
crawling all over the place.
Ooh. It's making me feel itchy.
Female German cockroach.
Ooh.
Europeans.
Don't push the button.
They're in. They come from Perth area.
Oh, so we're going to Perth and we're going to be covered in cockroaches.
So that's why they
Bugs, cockroaches.
There's a striped cockroach that's down native to this area.
well about one place a city was a problem. But that's still
Back there.
so the word still so
Dead cockroaches. Oh, there's a whole bunch of them on that, those black
they
things. Okay, this is a section in Melbourne called Fitzroy. It's an old section.
Yeah, they're like
And it's sort of got a lot of trendy places to eat, things like that. And we're looking for a place to have lunch.
Okay, so I'm pressing this down and see if I can change this. Right? Yeah, look, it beats better. I'm having steak sandwich. It's kind of good. It will be a little different. What are you having?
Chicken burger.
Chicken burger. You have chicken burger yesterday?
Yeah, so
Look at this guy.
look at the meatball left over there.
Yes.
Anyway, it's okay.
Sauces?
That's okay.
We're good. It's kind of an interesting place.
And we're drinking
We're still in Fitzroy, and this is just another part of the place. We had a really good lunch at a place, and there's some very interesting shops and things going on here. I have a feeling it is a place that may have been very old at one time and now has become very, very trendy. Certainly lots of interesting places to eat for sure. Like, here you go. You want a donut?
Good one, that's all of us.
Nutella ones? Where's the Nutella ones?
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I wish I wasn't so full right now. I haven't had a donut in years. What's that?
Kit Kat on top.
Yeah, $6.70 for a donut, $8 for Stranger Rings. Nutella Jordan, $8 just the Nutella ones. Liam Hemsworthy. Yeah. They look too good. And then you have art. Okay, we saw this place advertised on TV, and it's one of the popular places down here in Fitzroy, and it's called the Ice Bar. And apparently, you go in and they give you coats and jackets to wear, and it's -10 inside, and they serve the drinks in specially made ice cube-like glasses and things like that. Okay, come on, we're Canadian. -10 for a cold drink. We can just go out on our deck any day of the week in the wintertime and have a drink on it. Same diff. So events in the past week? Well, it was a busy week, especially towards the tail end of it. I worked on all those projects, but on top of that, I had a very special friend and her husband come and for a visit. She is the owner-operator of the Quilter's Way, which is a paid membership site for quilters, and you've heard me talk about it many times before. I have been on it for 6 years, since its inception. And Kim has become a good friend, and anytime she comes out to Ontario, because she lives in Calgary, we usually get together, and so we did this past Friday. And we had a really great time with them, and I interviewed Kim as well, and you probably have already seen it because it went up on Saturday, my interview with Kim Jamieson-Hurst of the Quilter's Way. And if you're curious about what the Quilter's Way is all about, that video will reveal the mystery for you. So check that out. We also, as I said, did a shop hop, and I have a whole video that'll come out this coming Friday about that. And if you're not familiar with what a shop hop is, basically you go around to different quilt stores that are on the circuit, and they usually have some specials and some other special events, and it's just a fun day of shopping and going to maybe some places, in our case 2 shops we'd never been to before, didn't even really know they existed. So that was a nice surprise. So anyways, there'll be a whole detailed video about that coming out on Friday. And there is a special video that went live on Sunday with the 4S Club collab. This involves myself, Sean, the guy who sews, Stephanie of Stephanie Stitches, and Shannon of Slay Arts. We're doing a little project together, and we're involving you as well. We've each picked 3 possible patterns that we could do. They're all different. Each one of us have a different set of 3. And now your job is to go watch the video and vote for the pattern you want each one of us to do. And then we have other things planned around this, which are all explained in the video as well. You have until midnight
October the 3rd. That's tomorrow. Yes, we gave a very short time for voting on this. So you will vote for the one you want each one of us to do. And yeah, we'll see how that turns out. So this is going to be fun. So yeah, check the video out. The link is in the show notes for that. There's also a link for how you vote. Okay, so what's coming up? Well, of course, the retreat on October 21st, getting a little closer for that. It is full at the moment. There is a waiting list established. So if you, you missed getting on, but you might get on still if your name is on the waiting list. No guarantees, but there's always people who drop out, a few days before. And if that's the case, then I start pulling from the waiting list, and I will send those people a note to let them know you're on with that. And guess what's happening tomorrow? Yeah, I'll see it. I'll believe it when I see it. The window. The window is supposed to be replaced tomorrow. Yeah, the one that we've been fighting about since last fall, essentially. We'll see how that goes. I'll be sure to tell you. Yeah. I'm expecting this is not the end of our problem. You can't get good help, as they say. So, yeah, that's what's coming up, and I think that's it for me today. So thanks for joining me. I hope you have a great week, and do check out the Idiot Quilter and So Chatty this week, and of course Stephen and Walter Live. Oh yeah, one note about Stephen and Walter Live this coming Sunday. It's Thanksgiving here in Canada this coming weekend, and we're off to my sister's for dinner on Sunday. So instead of being on at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be on 1 hour earlier, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know that's going to throw some people off, but my sister wants us at her place by 5, so that means we have to do this at 3. So yeah. Okay. Have a great week. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.